Ben 10 Alien Force is a video game that even though I wanted to, I couldn't remember. Unlike its predecessor, this video game never had the magic or epicness to give you that feeling when you look at it. Now, I'll tell you the good and bad reasons why Ben 10 Alien Force, the first video game, could be considered the worst Ben 10 game. When it comes to the story, I'm not going to lie to you, it's something that leaves us wanting a lot more. Most of its story focuses directly on what happened in its Cartoon Network series. You might think that's normal and even good, but in reality, it's not. The video game is based on the first 2 episodes of the series called Ben 10 Returns. In these episodes, when Ben and Kevin accidentally discover the hybrids' plan and try to stop them, it's true that new characters are added, which makes the story make a little more sense. But at first, they make us think that the Forever Knights are the enemies, so we have to go with Swampfire and Big Chill to stop them. These are 2 of the 5 aliens that we'll have at our disposal. Later on, an alien will join who is just awesome. Seriously, he makes the whole game change completely. But we'll get to that. For now, let me tell you that the story really starts at the end of the first chapter. After 20 minutes, we finally find out what we're going to do since we meet Gorbat, a 4-arms who claims to be a plumber and an old friend of Grandpa Max. He has been off Earth for reasons they haven't told us yet.
Haven't we learned our lesson about automatically trusting everyone? We don't know who this guy is. Just because he has a plumber badge doesn't mean he's really one.
Kevin knows. And actually, Gorbat shows up to be the guide in the video game. He gives us a goal, and it's to help you with his mission by finding one of the most powerful and dangerous devices in the universe. Gwen and Kevin are also essential since they are playable characters in this video game. Deciding if this is good or bad will be up to you, since personally I think they are just filler to solve simple puzzles. With the objectives defined, we'll be ready to dive into various scenarios and beat up the different enemies in the video game. There are 3 of them: the Eternal Knights, the Servants of Volcanos, and the Demi-Aliens. There are no other enemies. The really bad thing about the game is that there's no variety. And even though there are actually 8 levels, it doesn't really feel that way. In the early levels, we encounter the Eternal Knights, which are easy enemies to defeat and don't pose a threat. We attack the poor guys only because the 4-armed fat guy tricks us and makes us infiltrate the castle to steal a piece that's supposedly dangerous. There's not much to say about Volcanos' servants. They obey all their boss's orders, and Volcanos is the second boss in the video game. That's really bad, since we find Volcanos as just a regular enemy in the Ben 10 Protector of Earth game. The thing is, the bosses in this video game are extremely bad. The only one that stands out is the Mechanical Dragon, which is the first one we encounter, which makes a really good reference to what we talked about before, and that's the first 2 episodes of Ben 10 Alien Force. The attempt to add information from the original series is really good. After defeating Volcanus, we come across an artifact that we know perfectly well, and that's the subatomic energy. Here's what happens to Upchuck at the end of Ben 10.
I thought it was the only sub-energy on Earth, but this can't be the same one. Ben destroyed that one.
Well, wherever it comes from, we need to make sure it gets into the wrong hands. If you handled the last one, you can handle this one, right?
Oh man, I was just starting to be able to eat new spicy foods.
At this point, the game's plot really starts to get good. That's because a hybrid commander shows up to steal what seems to be the last component of what they're creating, which, as a spoiler, is the interdimensional bridge that starts the invasion of their species on Earth. We find all this out thanks to a message from Grandpa Max, which, as a nice reference, is missing just like in the series.
We've issued a galaxy-wide alert about Gorgon. He is considered extremely dangerous and possibly armed. Supposedly. If found, he will be taken into custody immediately.
The Fat 4-Arms guy was an enemy who was selling the dangerous parts to the hybrids. Kevin is the first one to discover this and tries to fix it, but let me tell you, it ends very badly. The Xenocytes take over his body, leaving us with a Kevin who will serve for an entertaining battle as the 3rd boss. Kevin, as an Osmosian, can absorb energy, and in the fight he has several elements that can give us trouble, since some elements make him faster and others make his attacks much more powerful. And actually, he gives us a pretty decent battle, unlike Gorbin, who is the 4th boss but is no threat at all. Once you learn how to finish him off, since he has a machine that restores his health, he's easy to defeat. What makes me nostalgic is that some of his attacks resemble 4 arms from Protector of the Earth. When things finally become clear and we know who the real enemy is, it starts to get good. By this point, we've unlocked Spider Monkey, G-Tray, and a Homungosaur. G-Tray, out of all the aliens, is totally overpowered. His attacks easily take down the demi-aliens and anything that stands in his way. It's a huge pleasure to play with this alien, and maybe it's because his attacks are fast enough to remind you of the old gameplay from Protector of the Earth. Or maybe it's just because you can destroy everything with his laser beam. When it comes to the abilities, attacks, and combos of the aliens, we're a bit limited. Unfortunately, it's not like what we had before, where we could go all out. After one combo, we could do another and another and another, until we literally destroyed the whole stage. Here, some of the aliens' special attacks take away the excitement from all of this. And even though in the end they try to give you some kind of reward by letting you play as the giant version of Homungosaur, you only do it for a couple of minutes and it's just to climb a giant tower. That's it. At the end of the video game, we have to go inside the hybrid ship where we'll face the 5th boss in one of the weirdest battles Ben 10 has to offer. Because literally, we don't have to fight the hybrid. Here, we have to survive for an undetermined amount of time in a room that goes up and down. At first, you'll be totally confused, not knowing what to do. But let me tell you, that's the objective. In the end, the hybrid manages to escape in his ship, and when we thought that the real action was coming with a super final boss, let me tell you, no, the game doesn't have a final boss. And it leaves you feeling like you played something unfinished. This is how the first Ben 10 Alien Force game ends. The second game, Ben 10 Vilgax Attack, is definitely memorable. I'm really looking forward to making that video. If you'd like to see it too, help me reach the like goal. This really motivates me to release videos more often. I'd like to give a big shout out to these people. I'm Frio, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.